A cloudy passing shower Friday night, low 43, and then Saturday partly sunny with a high 64. I'm AccuWeather's Steve Williams.
It's 62 degrees at Jock 98.7. KWTO-FM Springfield. Keep up to date on the latest in sports on Jock 98.7 and online at jock987.com.
Brother, it's a long road from Amistad to Toho. Doesn't matter which way you go. The miles are all the same.
Don Berry's Fishing Radio Show is brought to you by these fine sponsors. Tad Moreland, attorney at law, Ranger Boats, Mercury Marine, Pro Guide Batteries, Sun Line, Branson West Marine, Marine Repair Center, Championship Marine, Chomper Soft Plastics, War Eagle Spinnerbaits, John's Hot Props, McAllister Marine, Blues Reels and Rods, Solar Bat Sunglasses, Hayden Machinery, Ulrich Marine, Freedom Bank, Extreme Outdoors, Bass Pro Shops, Power Pole, and Garmin Electronics.
Welcome to Don Berry's Fishing Radio Show, the leader in sport fishing talk radio, presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Together they create a best of the best shopping experience for all outdoor enthusiasts. You have the best in fishing with Bass Pro Shops, the best in hunting with Cabela's, and the best in boating with the White River Marine brands. Hey, our Freedom Bank guest of the week is a good one. FLW Tour Pro David Dudley.
Hey, that sucker's won a lot of money.
He's won a lot of money. He is the all-time leading money winner in FLW history, and he has recently got invited to fish the BASS Elite Tour next year. He has turned that opportunity down and is going to stay with the FLW, where he cut his teeth and has had all his success. So we're going to hear from David and why he chose to stay with the FLW. And going to talk a little fall fishing with him. And did you know that David Dudley has a horse ranch?
I didn't know that.
He does.
I know he's got a daughter or two.
He's got 5 kids, and he's got a horse ranch.
Wow.
And he likes to coon hunt when he's not fishing. So we're going to have a good time with David Dudley today. Freedom Bank has 5 branches in southwest Missouri, including Willard, Cassville, Shell Knob, Golden, and Seligman. Freedom Bank is a full-service bank with both deposit and lending services. Freedom Bank has all the tools to make your banking easier. They specialize in agriculture, and they are huge supporters of outdoorsmen everywhere. The staff at Freedom Bank is courteous and knowledgeable. You're not treated like a number. You're treated as part of the Freedom family. Your community, your future, your bank. Freedom Bank of Southern Missouri, member FDIC, equal housing lender. And I want to give a big shout-out to Freedom Bank, especially Freedom Bank in Willard, Missouri, for all your support of the Fishing Radio Show here and the Ozark Mountain Team Trail. Our anglers and our staff really, really appreciate all the support you guys give us. It's time, Mercury Marine Go Boldly trivia question. Get ready for the Mercury V8 4-stroke, stronger, faster, and bolder. It's that muscle car you dreamt of in high school, but it's in outboard form. Presented by Extreme Outdoors, located in Reed Spring, Missouri. Tackle Pack includes products from Extreme Outdoors, Chompers, War Eagle, Garmin, and a $25 gift card from Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. The Go Boldly question: what BASS angler is known for creating the kneel and reel technique for crankbaiting? The Sunline answers: is it A, David Fritz, B, Paul Elias, or C, Ken Cook? Give us a call at 417-868-6100. That's 417-868-6100. Sunline, the only fishing line you need, fluorocarbon braid and monofilament. www.sunlineamerica.com. Fishing Radio Show news presented by Hayden Machinery. No job is too big or too small for Hayden Machinery. Hayden Machinery has the equipment you need for any size job. Hayden Machinery specializes in farm and construction equipment. Hayden Machinery can sell you new or used equipment. They can rent it to you until the job is done, or they can make repairs on your old. Check out their inventory at HaydenMachineryLLC.com or stop by and see for yourself where Division crosses I-44 right here in Springfield, Missouri. 417-831-0000, Hayden Machinery. Hey, big news, Major League Fishing, Bass Pro Tour, filled that last spot. Anthony Gagliardi is the newest angler to join the MLF BPT Tour. Gagliardi comes over from the FLW Tour, where he had a stellar career there, and he won the Forest Wood Cup back in 2014. The big surprise is J.T. Kinney.
Will be the Mark Zona of
JT,
MLF.
he's going to be the Mark Zona MLF. J.T. Kinney was already invited to fish Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour. He accepted that, and here in the last few weeks he has opted to go to the booth, which opened up another spot, who it has been filled by Jeff Sprague. And so
a tough Texas stick.
Yeah, very, very tough Texas stick. And it's going to be interesting. JT said that it's always kind of been somewhat of a dream of his to end up in the booth, and he really thought someday he would get that opportunity, and it just came a little quicker than later.
Boy's been around. He's got some knowledge, so I'm sure that's going to fill a void right there that they weren't looking to have to fill, and got J.T. Kinney with all his talent and everything, I think, and knowledge of the game.
Yeah, I agree, and it's going to be interesting to see how the Major League Fishing and the Bass Pro Tour gets all this lined out. I just from trying to imagine what it's going to be like, I would say that it's kind of going to be like BASS does their BASS Live that you can watch in the mornings before the weigh-in starts. I would assume that J.T. Kinney will be leading that up, and you'll be able to be online all day with the anglers and see how things roll.
It is going to be interesting to see how they do that format. They said it was going to be very interesting because they're not going to have fish to hold up. So,
yeah. Just an update. Matt Ray is leaving the FLW Tour for the Bassmaster Elite Series. Jeff Gustafson is leaving the FLW for the Elites. Jeff Sprague obviously is leaving the FLW, going to the Bass Pro Tour, and Clark Wendlandt is leaving FLW and going to the Bassmaster Elite Series.
You know, he's got a Texas hunting and fishing show that he does, and I wonder if that had kind of going to help promote his show any at all. Going to the bigger stage.
Could be. And then our guest today, David Dudley, declines the Bassmaster Elite Series invitation, and he will return to the FLW Tour.
Wouldn't you think that would be a big step? I mean, if you'd been fishing this circuit and somebody like BASS came down to Scott Berry and said, hey, we've got an opening, we'd like for you to fill it if you would, what would you do?
Well, I can't answer that because
You're not there.
I'm not there, and that would be a hard thing to answer. Obviously, growing up as a kid, I would say that my first instinct would always be BASS because that's just kind of how you grew up as a kid, following BASS, and then FLW came along, and our deep relationship with Ranger Boats, and I don't know. That's a hard decision to make. If you're an FLW angler and you got an invite to go to the Bass Pro Tour, number one, you got to make that decision. And then some of these guys got invited to go to the Elites, and that's a big decision you have to make. And it's one that you'd have to make for your family. I'm sure they're reaching out and getting advice from their sponsors, and it's a big business decision. After a one-year experiment with the Bassmaster Opens Championship, BASS is returning to the popular win and you're in qualifying system from the Opens to the Bassmaster Classic. So next year, you going to make it back there? I'm going to have to start patting you on the back. Garrett, your partner Gary Reed's watching. Reed, did you do something to him this weekend or what? He can't even stand up here without coughing his head off. Anyway, that's interesting. You win a Bass Open, you automatically qualify to go to the Bassmaster Classic. It's the way it used to be. They experimented with something different this year, and I guess they didn't like it. So they're going.
I think they ended up with like 12 guys added to go to the Classic out of this championship.
10 or 12 guys, and they only had 28 guys fishing at Table Rock this weekend, and And I'm sure it was meant to be 28 anglers.
Yeah.
But to have a tournament circuit as big as BASS and have 28 anglers fishing in a tournament just doesn't seem much of a wow factor there. So need to do something a little bit more exciting and do it like the bracket fishing they're doing. But they're going to go back to the way it used to be, the way it worked, and we'll go from there. Regional Tournament Action Report presented by Battery Outfitters. Pro Guide Batteries, the Fisherman's Choice in batteries. Visit Battery Outfitters' Springfield location at 5245 South Campbell Avenue for all your battery needs. Kevin and Brian Jackson win the Joe Bass Championship on Table Rock Lake. Talked to Kevin Jackson a little bit this morning about some insurance, and
he's been at this game a while.
He was pretty excited, and he said they had a really, really, really good week last week on a very, very tough Table Rock fishery, and he was pretty excited. Josh and Donald Ray are your 2018 Ranger Boat Mercury Marine Ozark Mountain Team Trail champions. They led the field on day one and brought enough to the scales on day two to retake the lead and never looked back. Josh Busby and Tim Taylor took second place, and Josh Tate and James Rance coming in third. Less than 4 pounds separated the top 10 anglers on a tough Table Rock Lake. There was lots of smallmouth weighed in, and overall, I touched every single fish that was weighed in that tournament, and overall we had a really, really, really healthy group of fish that were weighed in. I'm not sure why the fishing has been so stingy on Table Rock Lake, but I'm sure it will get better as a little bit cooler weather starts coming around the bend here before winter sets in. And also want to give a shout-out to Jacob Garrett and Kim Wallace. They caught the Lose Rod and Reel and Academy Big Bass for the Ozark Mountain Team Trail this weekend. It weighed 5.17 pounds. And, again, congratulations go out to all you guys in the top 10 there. We had Max Atkinson and Kenny Gibson roll in at fourth. The Fan brothers, Mike and Mark, were fifth. Boaz and Cheryl from Arkansas were sixth. Jacob Garrett, Kim Wallace, seventh. Brian Thompson, Eric Hammond, eighth. Wesley Rogers, Leon Tipton, our good buddies from Arkansas, ninth. And these two guys, Cody Spinks and Caleb Spinks, rounded out the top 10. And you talking about a couple guys that were excited as all get out to get 10th place. They didn't think they'd made a check, and we called their name for 10th place, and they were just tickled as
and one
all
of them
get
little?
out.
Is that the one that had the young kid?
No. That would be James Rance and Josh Tate, James Rance's son. Next cast presented to us by Lose Rods and Reels, setting the standard by winning iCast Rod and Reel Combo. Best show 4 years running. If you're in the Springfield area, stop by the Lose headquarters and visit the Ozark Fishing Museum. The Polar Bear Series will be on Pomme de Terre on October the 28th. Hermitage Boat Ramp. That's this weekend, the Hermitage Boat Ramp. All right, let's go out here and see if we can get this trivia question answered, and I may have to take him to the doctor. And we have Marion. Marion, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Marion, you got any cough medicine?
Oh, probably I can find some somewhere.
I got one trying to die on me back here. He needs some cough medicine. All right, Marion. Do you have an answer for that trivia question, or do you need me to read it again?
I haven't even listened to it. Would you read it again?
I sure will, buddy.
That's gutsy.
Yeah. What BASS angler is known for creating the kneel and reel technique for crankbaiting? Is it David Fritz?
Paul Elias.
I didn't even have to tell him. He knew it. Paul Elias. Marion, you got it right. And Paul Elias is actually having, I think, shoulder surgery this week, so he's got to get healed up for next year.
He's having a resurgence of his career. He retired and went down to fish lower levels, and now he's back. Going to be out in the big time again.
He's back at it. Marion, you won yourself a tackle pack sponsored by Extreme Outdoors down in Reed Spring, Missouri. Stay on the line. We need to get some information from you, and we will be right back after these messages.
Tad Moreland, attorney at law, 939 North Boonville, Springfield, is trained to meet all your legal needs, from personal injury, criminal defense, class action, or a speeding ticket. See Tad Moreland now. If a legal decision is required, just like me, Tad Moreland is the attorney you call. Court action or a simple speeding ticket. Look to Tad Moreland for representation. Contact Tad Moreland at 1-417-865-4400 for legal consultation or tadstickets.com for those pesky traffic violations. Tad Moreland, with over 20 years of experience, is the attorney you want on your side. It's all about fishing people talking fishing. That's Extreme Outdoors, located behind Ulrich Marine in Branson, West Missouri. Extreme Outdoors has a huge inventory of fishing tackle you need to catch your next big fish. Whether you need a bait to fish in grass or a lure that dives to 20 feet, or even a lure that is not known for catching fish in our area, Extreme Outdoors has your bait. When a lure is catching fish, Extreme Outdoors will have that lure, line, rod, and reel that you need. Extreme Outdoors, Branson West. If you haven't seen the full lineup of Ranger bass boats, better head to Branson West Marine, located on Highway 76 just east of Branson West, Missouri. With a fully certified installation staff, Branson West provides Mercury, Yamaha, and Evinrude choices in motors while giving you the opportunity to choose from Ranger fiberglass, the new Ranger aluminums, and now the Ranger Regatta pontoon. Come to Branson West Marine for the largest selection of Ranger products in the West. Branson West Marine also has boat accessories and can install them on site. For the best deal on a new Ranger, get to Branson West Marine today. Sunline Fluorocarbon. Incredible sensitivity, abrasion resistance, less stretch, and longevity on the spool. BASS winners Tommy Biffle and Mike McClellan know what line to use. Sunline Fluorocarbon outfishes and outlasts all the others. Sunline Fluorocarbon and monofilament available at Fin and Feather and Bass Pro Shops.
Welcome back to Don Barry's Fishing Radio Show, presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, where you can shop online and take advantage of the local in-store pickup, 100% guarantee outdoor rewards program, and a price match policy on the best outdoor products in the world. Next cast brought to you by Chomper Soft Plastics, War Eagle Spinnerbaits, and John's Hot Props. Fishing in the Big Leagues presented by Garmin Electronics and the new Live Scope. 2018 ICAST Best of Show winner. Don't get left behind. Make Garmin Live Scope your next choice when it comes to electronics. FLW News, the Costa Championship is at Lake Gunnersville down in Alabama. That'll be November the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
We'll be talking about some of the Missouri guys in the next 2 weeks.
We'll be talking about some of the Missouri guys, and I'll let everybody know we don't have our guests lined up for next week yet, but 2 weeks from today, we will have Mr. Jeremy Lawyer right here in the studio with us, and was going to get Jeremy on the show today, but he said he'd rather come in here and sit down and visit with us, so we put it off till then, and maybe Jeremy Lawyer will just go out there and win that Costa Championship, and then we'll have
a lot to talk about.
We'll have a lot to talk about because his back-to-back wins. But anyway, going to be a couple good shows coming up here in the next few weeks. BASS news after I think I've already talked about that, the one-year experiment, winning you're in. So if you win a Bass Open, you're automatically in the Classic from now on. And college and high school news, don't have any to share. If you are a high school fishing angler and you're interested in fishing high school tournaments, you need to get with your counselor or your administrator at the school and have them get a hold of JP Sell. They can call the Lew's headquarters right here in Springfield, Missouri, and they'll get you in contact with JP Sell, and he'll come to your school. And
have your mother go talk to the principal or athletic director and have her just willing to go talk to the Board of Education about it, and then call JP.
There you go.
Moms have a way to get that word out there.
Yeah.
I mean, they get action.
Send Mom up there. Let her take care of it. And I believe that's all we got, so we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back after these messages.
There's an old saying that anglers and water enthusiasts have trusted for many years: black on the back. Mercury has been pushing anglers to their limits, getting them to the fish and back to weigh in. Mercury is still #1 on the water, and it's because Mercury builds their motors to last. Whether you choose the Pro XS models from 115 to 300 horsepower, Mercury's are built to last. Craftsmanship means reliability, so trust Mercury and put black on the back. When I hit the ignition, I'm thankful that I run Pro Guide batteries. When I drop the trolling motor and bump the switch, my boat always moves. For over 20 years, I have dealt my starting and trolling motor batteries some pretty tough treatment. When you fish 200 days per year and after every trip you charge the batteries in your boat, you better make certain they are Pro Guides. No battery on the market is as reliable as a Pro Guide. It's what you get with Chompers, a bite every time. Chompers is made with a scent of garlic, and you always know it's Chompers, but the fish do too. Don't open a package of Chompers unless you expect to catch fish. Chompers, fish bite it and never let go. From the finesse rig worm to their wild hog and twin-tail jig trailers, Chompers has a soft plastic for all occasions to match up with your Chompers jig. Get your Chompers on today. If I told you I got the same insurance as you, but at a better price, would you change? If the coverage was the same or better, would you change? If I told you my insurance agent had the knowledge as to which insurance best met the needs of me and my family, wouldn't you want to have my insurance agent also? All this and more from Scott Berry Insurance, the agent who shops around so you don't have to. Call Scott for home, auto, boat, and renter's insurance at 417-861-2983. Scott Berry Insurance, specializing in getting you the best price for your insurance needs. You can't afford to be without insurance, so why not get the best rates in the business with Scott Berry Insurance? Got a lot of oops and dang it's on the old boat? Make it new again with a trip to the most famous boat body shop in the Ozarks, Championship Marine. Championship Marine repairs fiberglass boats, installs carpet, and provides the best boat detail shop. So when your boat needs a makeover, go to Championship Marine in Spokane, Missouri. Championship Marine provides free estimates for their work, and you can always rely on Championship Marine to provide your old boat with a new boat look. See Championship Marine today.
Wishes transform lives.
My name is Memphis, and my wish is to swim with sea turtles.
And wishes positively impact the lives of these children and will forever enrich yours.
Memphis's wish gave her an opportunity to forget about her illness and gave her the opportunity to just be a kid again.
Each year, Make-A-Wish Missouri grants over 330 wishes to local children, and you can help make that happen. Donate today by visiting Don Berry Fishin' Radio's Facebook page and clicking the link to donate to Make-A-Wish Missouri. Your donations will bring us closer to our vision of granting the wish of every eligible child.
Welcome back to the Fishing Radio Show, presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Shop at a location near you for the best fishing, hunting, and White River marine boating products in the world. Next Cast brought to you by McAllister Marine in Highlandville, Missouri. Marine Repair Center right here in Springfield, Missouri, and RMS Automotive, your one-stop shop for all your automotive accessories. Call RMS today at 417-881-8434. Fish and Tackle Spotlight. Today's Tackle Spotlight. What do you got for us over there?
I got one of these lures you probably have never even thrown.
Well, now, I haven't thrown one that big, but I have thrown some of them over there, I saw.
We are featuring today what we refer to it as the Wiggle Diggle. It's also known as a redfin type bait or a redfin itself. Redfin happens to be made by Cordell. And this bait is good in the fall, and there were some anglers in the OMTT that used this bait this past weekend. And this bait travels up on the surface or just a little bit below the surface and makes a big wiggle like that. That's the reason we call it a Wiggle Diggle. This one happens to have a feather on the tail. I like that on all my topwater baits is to start out with that. And this is the big one. And you might think, well, they don't hit this, but big fish will hit this bait right here. And they come up and explode. It also comes in a couple other sizes. This happens to be a sexy shad right here. And it has triple hooks on it. And what you do is, if you'll notice on the bottom of this bait, it's got lead weight. And what you want that bait to do when it comes through the water, you want the tail to set down a little bit so the head makes a wake, and that bill right there makes a little wake out. If you notice the shad in the fall, they run around and they're shooting across the top of the water, sometimes splashing, but not often. And then when you see that action or you see one blow up on that, that's a great time. Also comes in a jointed, and that's the secret of it all.
That's my
right
favorite
there,
one right there.
is the jointed redfin type baits. And that bait wiggles, and it has the action that's incredible, and the fish can't resist it. Also comes in even a smaller model in about a 3.5-inch size. And you might think, Oh, red? Why would he use red? Well, folks, let me tell you something. Red is a secret color when you're bass fishing, so keep that in mind.
I'm going to tell you, first thing you need to do with that red one is change those rusty hooks out.
Well, it just happens to be they got wet and, didn't have time to do that this week.
Oh, there you go. Fish and Tackle Spotlight. The red fin, or as we call it, the wiggle diggle. Great way to catch some big bass, especially on your clear water lakes like Table Rock and Bull Shoals. Branson West Marine Fishing Report. Shop Branson West Marine, located in Branson West, Missouri, for your next Ranger boat. Check out their fiberglass and their aluminum models of Ranger boats down there. And it's presented to us by Stone Creek Lodge and Tandem Fly Outfitters. Your one-stop shop on Stockton Lake. They've got a fully stocked bait and tackle shop. Clean, affordable rooms and fishing guides on staff. Find Stone Creek Lodge or Tandem Fly Outfitters on Facebook, or give them a call, 417-276-1700. If you're wanting to go crappie fishing and you need a little help, call my good buddy Chris Nelson. He'll load the boat for you. Guaranteed. Bass, whopper ploppers, buzz baits, square bills, crankbaits, spinner baits, jigs. The fish are starting to move shallow on all the lakes around here, and you're going to be able to catch them on a variety of lures, and it's going to change from day to day. It may change from hour to hour. So you just got to stay with it and keep covering lots of water as fast as you can, and it'll work out for you.
Boy, it was crazy this weekend because things that guys did on day one and they thought they were going to catch a whole bunch of fish kind of wilted. And other guys didn't have a good day on day one and ended up catching 5 fish on day 2 with a different type of method. And you said it. You hit it right on the head. It changes on a daily basis this time of the year.
Yeah, crappie fishing, especially on Stockton Lake, is pretty good right now. Palm de terre is really good. Jigs and minnows, you can catch some around pole timber, but the best bites are coming around the brush piles. And I will tell you that the crappie are starting to move to the shallower brush piles, but you can still catch the best numbers out in deeper piles, so anywhere from 12 to 22 feet. You just got to keep moving. You'll pull up on a pile, and you may catch 5 or 6, 7, 8, and then they'll quit, and you just got to move. And you can come back to that pile later and catch some more. Walleye night crawlers on a jig head around brush piles, and you can catch some catfish on a night crawler around some brush piles too. All right, let's take another quick break, and when we get back, we'll be in our Find 'em, Catch 'em guest seminar where we've got our guest, FLW Tour Pro David Dudley.
Ranger Boats has been honored to share the dreams of countless anglers for almost a half-century, and they continue to enjoy the privilege of that service. Ranger offers the most outstanding fiberglass boat on the market, built to last and satisfy every fishing need you can think of. From fiberglass to aluminum, Ranger excels in performance and workmanship, preserving the strongest resale of any bass boat on the market. From the Z500C series to the new 199R aluminum pad boat, Rangers are built with unparalleled craftsmanship, performance innovations, and strength. From first light to the last cast, always rely on Ranger. Check out the new lineup of Ranger Regatta pontoons and start chasing the fun. Marine Repair Center just announced they are the Garmin electronics dealer for Southwest Missouri. Marine Repair Center now carries and installs the most sought-after fishing units available, Garmin. Marine Repair Center also has Minn Kota and Motor Guide trolling motors while placing Garmin, Lowrance, or Humminbird electronics on your boat. The new Marine Repair Center, located at 1434 North National, Springfield. Call Scott or Brad at 417-833-9191 for the accessories needed to make you the best fisherman ever. And now, get the latest in Graph mounts from Bass Boat Technologies at Marine Repair Center. Experiencing motor problems on your boat? Ulrich Marine is the established marine repair and outboard motor dealer in the Table Rock Lake and Southwest Missouri area. Ulrich Marine carries all the accessories you need for your boat, including Garmin, Humminbird, and Lowrance electronics, and Ulrich Marine installs them also. If it is a trolling motor acting up, look to Ulrich Marine for all your needs. Ulrich Marine also has the new Champion Charger boat, one real fast machine. Check out Ulrich Marine for all your boating needs and repairs, located in Branson West, Missouri, on the west side of Highway 13.
Bass Pro Shops is more than a store. It's the right gear for wherever your adventure takes you. It's a great selection of the brands you trust, like Under Armour, Carhartt, and Ascend. It's a low price guarantee. It's great service from folks who know what they're talking about. It's a sportsman's paradise. And free events that are fun for the whole family. Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here at 1935 South Campbell in Springfield and at the Branson Landing.
Shop no more for electronics. New Garmin Echo Map Plus series has arrived. Affordable with new bright sunlight readable screens. Garmin Echo Map Plus is preloaded with Lakeview HD maps covering 17,000 total lakes, or you can create your own mapping with built-in software. See the lake like you've never seen it before with Garmin Echo Map Plus. Simple to use and built to make you a better fisherman. Garmin, now available at Marine Repair Center, Ulrich Marine, and Bass Pro Shops.
Welcome back to the Fishing Radio Show, presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. We are here in the Find 'em, Catch 'em Guest Seminar presented by Tad Moreland, attorney at law. When you need legal advice and representation, Tad Moreland gets the job done. Call Tad Moreland today at 417-865-4400 or go online to tadstickets.com. Freedom Bank Guest of the Week is FLW Tour Pro Mr. David Dudley from Lynchburg, Virginia. David Dudley, welcome to the show, man.
I'm happy to be on any show in the country, and especially you guys.
Oh, man, we appreciate having you. How is the weather in Lynchburg, Virginia?
Weather right now is good, especially that I'm standing on a boat, have a rod in my hand, and fishing while we're talking. So times are good right now.
That is awesome. That is pretty dadgum awesome. The technology today can allow you to stand on the front of a boat and fish and be live on a radio show.
Yep, my whole purpose of getting up on the lake, I've been hunting the last, of course, month and a half, and I haven't been on the lake, so I'm getting ready to go this coming Sunday for the World Championships in Mexico and represent USA against 23 countries. So I figure I better get myself back in shape a little bit, you know.
Well,
I haven't been on the water that long, so if I'm going to represent USA and go against all the other countries in the world, I figured I better, at least do a little bit of training before I head that way.
I can say one thing. You're going to Mexico, and you got yourself a good bodyguard going with you. Watson to make a good bodyguard.
Oh gosh, yeah. He'll have everybody laughing, going when we get escorted down to the compound that we're going to be at. He'll have everybody rolling. It's like taking dibs on who you want to ride with. I'm going to be like raising my hand saying, me and James Watson are riding together. I call first shotgun with James Watson,
I've been there, and it's a hoot. I'm telling you, I've been there, so it's a hoot. So
yeah.
Hey, David, you kind of had to make a big decision here this past week or so, and we were kind of wondering how you came up to make that decision that you made, and we're referring to what's going on between FLW, BASS, and the MLF right now.
Yeah, it's a lot has transpired in the last 2 weeks, no doubt about it. I mean, it is. I'm a pretty even guy when it comes to pressure or stress or anything, and the last few weeks I actually lost sleep over making this decision, and I've had a lot of things thrown my way, but when it comes down to it, there's a few factors I want to I kept in mind when I was looking at what tour I want to go to, and when it come down to it, and you look at all the organizations out there. We got BPT, which is, kind of the new MLF tour that's come out, and a lot of people have crossed over from a few from FLW, but some from, most of them came from Bass. And those guys, MLF has created a TV show that, it is exciting to watch. It's a different format. When when you've been dealt with a 5 bass limit your whole life, and MLF, you can go and catch, it's about numbers in some of their formats. It makes for an exciting TV show. So I had to look, am I ready for a change of pace? Number one, we don't know much about BPT. Sounds like they're going to get a lot of TV coverage. Thing I had to consider with Bassmaster was, they got a strong membership and, a good staff behind them in, the things that they push and what they do. But when it comes down to it is, FLW is an organization that just cares for their anglers. They truly are sincere in what they do, and they've launched my career back it's been 23 years ago. I started fishing the Red Man Trail, and it's a tremendous building block tour and to the highest level tour you can go. Here we are fishing for $10,000 down to 60th place. It's hard to not want to fish a tour where you're guaranteed to make a good living. If you can just perform, decent throughout the year, you're going to be able to make your living in something that we all dreamed about as a little kid. So my choice to stay with FLW was just the organization and the people that run it was number one. Two, you look at the payouts, you look at the system that they got going on is the best that I believe is out there and that has proven themselves. And three, it's a tour that, when it comes down to it, they got great fishermen, great people, and I want to compete against the best. I mean, look at Brian Thrift. I'm not saying every angler on FLW is the best, by no means. There's great anglers on all tours. So for anybody to claim they have the best anglers in the world is kind of offensive to a lot of people. The best anglers in the world are spread out over 3 tours. You understand what I'm saying? You got Brian Thrift, Scott Martin, and I can keep going down the list of people that aren't fishing, or fishing other tours, but yet are ranked extremely high in the world. So, it's a competitive market, and I'm excited to be there.
Very, very well put, David. You had a lot at stake with the FLW. Like you said, you've been there 23 years. You cut your teeth there. You've won over $3.5 million. You're the all-time leading money winner. 20 Cup appearances. You won the big thing in 2003. 7 wins, 42 top 10s. That is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I have no doubt. I have been very blessed in my career, to look back and hear those numbers. Like, literally, I just got goosebumps on my I'm a guy who doesn't like to really look at stats. I don't look at what I do, but hearing somebody else talk about me just now, I'm like, darn, that is kind of pretty impressive. I got 3 Angler of the Years, and there's not many people in the world, Roland Martin has multiple Angler of the Years. Of course, Rick Clunn, Kevin Van Dam, Andy Morgan, Clark Wendlandt. I can go down the list, but there's not many people that can say in a lifetime that they've gotten 3 Angler of the Years or championship wins. And to know that I've won $3.5 million to an organization that has supplied us a chance to make a living fishing. And, the FLW has truly, if you really think about it, years ago, FLW was a tour that came in and shook things up. Years ago, when you fish bass, and I fished bass a long time ago when you could fish both tours. I've actually won quite a bit of money over on Bassmaster side, but FLW came through, and Irwin Jacobs back in his visionary days, he basically took Bassmasters when they were only paying $40,000 for first place, and then all of a sudden you're offering $100,000 and then $250,000 for first place. Yeah, that's shaking it up. That's what I mean by FLW. They're the pioneer of shaking things up, bringing the organization, bringing bass fishing to the next level. Granted, Bassmasters, they're the godfather of kind of bass fishing with Ray Scott. We will never deny that. they're still a pioneer.
Uh-oh. I think we just lost David Dudley for a second. There he is.
You're back.
Am I here?
Yeah, you're here. We lost you for just a second.
Okay. But anyways, you know, it's a lot of the shakeup that happened over the course of the last 15, 20 years has been through Irwin Jacobs shaking up the industry and saying, hey, these guys deserve triple-digit paybacks. These guys deserve something greater than, you know, a small $40,000 payout. And he raised the bar, FLW. That's what I love about that organization. They're always looking for new and exciting ways to better us as an angler, to give us more opportunity to make money. And, you know, it's
Are you back, David?
I'm here.
Okay.
Yep.
We lost you again there for a second.
We're good.
All right.
Hey, let's jump ship here and quit talking about the business side of things, and let's talk about the fishing side of things. And you know, Dave, we're right here in the heart of Table Rock Lake. We just had our championship this past weekend, and the fishing on Table Rock Lake was extremely stingy. You know, talk to us about why is the fishing so tough in the fall before it transitions into winter?
Okay. Here's my quick summary of fall fishing. The reason fall fishing is so sporadic is that you have fish scattered all about. And the best way I can explain it to you is this. We all know some women, you know, they only want 73 degrees. If it's 74 degrees, it's too cold. If it's 72 degrees, it's too hot, right? You got some guys who like cold weather. You know, cold weather don't bother us. We go outside. We love it. This is what we do. Some people like hot. So in the fall of the year, what happens is they have their choice of where they want to reside at all over the lake. So some go shallow, right? Some go out in the middle of the lake chasing shad, and some still go deep. And yet, when you take a whole population of bass and spread them all over the lake, now when it turns super cold, right, and you get in the dead of winter, pretty much all fish retreat to warm water, you know, wherever that's it. You know, wherever that's at in the lake, you know, they're going to drop out deep. They're going to go there. Then in the spring, when it turns warm, you have the whole population that goes back shallow. Then in the summer, they start spreading back out again. Some of them stay shallow. Some of them go out and suspend. Some of them head to deep water. Then it gets tough again in the summer. But in the fall, when those shad really start spreading out all over the lake, it just makes it a tough time of the year. Bass are spread out all over the lake, and it's just tough fishing.
Well, had never thought of it like that. So, I mean, I've known that they, you know, some are deep and some are other. But I've always blamed it on the hurricane season and said, you know, until that passes, that's going to happen. So, but that makes a lot of sense. Your favorite fall bait, David Dudley?
It's got to be probably my shaky head. It's that time of year, a shaky head is a lure that can catch them from, you know, a foot of water to, you know, out there deep, just depending on where you want it. And my brand is always going to be Perfection Lures. It's a stand-up shaky head. It truly is the only true stand-up shaky head on the market. And it's my number one choice, especially in the fall when you got fish that are deep, shallow, mid-range or whatever. It's always going to get you a bite or two when you're looking for that extra bite.
Okay, if they're after shad, why that shaky head? You're using a little old skinny worm on it, I'm assuming?
Yeah, we always, you know, we always like to think in the fall of the year, all the fish, all that they're feeding on is shad. And that's kind of a misconcept. A bass is an opportunist, okay? If you had French fries around you all day long, right? And we're going to say that French fries are the shad. And then all of a sudden I throw a mozzarella cheese stick in amongst those French fries. It's something that looks different. You're tired of eating French fries. And then all of a sudden you eat, you know, you're like, oh, look, there's a worm. I want something different. And they bite it. It's not a fact. It's not like, they're just an opportunist. Could they eat a shad anytime they want? Absolutely. Am I fishing around a bunch of shad and throwing a shaky head? Absolutely. But it's not that a bass is going to turn its nose up at it. I don't like to eat potato chips, barbecue potato chips, 365 days a year. I want something different. And a bass, when he's eating something, he's just giving himself an opportunity for something different in his diet. I don't like to match, to say that I can't throw a shaky head worm during the fall of the year when their shad are up shallow. That's just nonsense.
Now, David, when you take this shaky head worm, what are your favorite types of areas when I'm talking about banks, docks, standing timber, laydowns, things like that? What is your favorite area to target with that shaky head?
Of course, when you get in the fall of the year, shad typically are going to migrate towards the back of the creeks. That's going to be the no-brainer part, right? No-brainer. The shad are going to the back and the bass are following them. Well, that's true. I won't deny that. But there's just as many shad in the main lake as there are in the back of a creek. A bass knows he can drop out there and get a shad anytime he wants it out deep. So the fall of the year, I'm going to look for transition banks, like 45-degree banks that go in the back of a creek or something like that. I don't have to go to the back of a creek just because there's shad there. If every bass followed a shad to the back of a creek, we could catch a bass every single cast of our life. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's not that way. It's just there's just as many fish on the main lake as it is in the back of a creek.
Okay, we hear all the time about when the water comes up, especially in our area over here, when the water comes up and gets up in the grass in people's yards and things like that, that it kicks those earthworms out, those big night crawlers and stuff. And it's real simple to go in there and catch bass in that shallow water then. Are we talking the same type of scenario there? They think maybe that old worm got washed in there?
I don't think bass are logically going in their mind. I don't think, okay, guys, y'all listen up. All right, the water has came up, and guess what? If we go up there shallow, the night crawlers are going to come. I don't think they don't logically think things out. But anytime you got a change in the atmosphere or change in the water, they're just curious and they start moving up, right? They start looking around, and then all of a sudden the night crawler's kind of wiggling on the bottom. Oh, well, look at here. Boom, he bites it. I don't think they put logic in behind what they're doing. They're just kind of moving around, and like I talk about, it's just an opportunity that came in front of them at the time. So they move up there shallow. They moved up there shallow, and they found food. And, of course, what are you going to do? If you find food up there shallow when you moved up there, you're going to stay up there and keep eating. If you move up there shallow and no night crawlers, no shad, no anything's following it, well, then what you going to do? You're not going to be there,
So, David, let me ask you this. Is the bank more important than focusing on timber, laydowns, docks, different types of structure that's on the bank, or is it the bank that's the most important thing to focus on in the fall? What type of bank?
I'm not sure if I'm following you on that question. So say that again.
Okay. Is the bank more important, and I'm talking about whether it's pea gravel, rock chunk, bluff banks, is the bank more important in the fall than it is chasing boat docks all over the lake or fishing pole timber all over the lake?
Yeah, okay, I got you. Again, I'm going to refer back to the scenario. Fall fishing is all across the board. Yes, I can agree. Yes, you need to be chasing boat docks. somewhere where they can get up underneath their shade. They're still sitting up underneath there. They might be suspended underneath the docks. Then you got your crawdad feeders, right? Your crawdad feeders are going to the pea gravel bank trying to get the last crawdads that are still there. You understand what I'm saying? Like, basically, when that water gets below 50, those crawdads start burying it up. And if you're a crawdad eater, and all of a sudden they start disappearing, you're trying to focus on, man, it's like me and chocolate. If I knew chocolate was disappearing from me, guess where I'm going to head? I'm going to try to find every piece of chocolate I can because I know I can go get me a French fry, a.k.a. a shad, anytime I want it. So we can't, and basically what I'm trying to tell you is in fishing, you can't get dogmatic and say, this is it. This is the only thing you want to do. Fall fishing, if you're a dock skipper and you're very good at dock skipping, go do it all day and don't let up on it. You know what I'm saying? If you're, if you got a few pea gravel banks and you're doing a certain type of fishing, go do that. Don't let that, don't let yourself get distracted on other things. You got to divide your time in between a pea gravel bank or, catching suspended fish over that timber like you guys do with swim baits, or you're going to docks, skipping docks. You can't, it's very hard to play all the whole game because you can catch fish doing it with the whole game. But I can't sit here and say that one is far superior than any other.
So
you know what I'm saying?
Basically, then, kind of what I'm gathering is a guy or a gal needs to fish their strength in the fall, whatever you got confidence in.
Well, if I say that, yes, if somebody is not as good at skipping docks as, if somebody's not as good at skipping docks, then that's not going to be something. But, we're talking, I'm kind of looking at that question as I'm answering as a professional. It doesn't, if I found a tree that had them suspended over top of it, or I'm just as confident skipping docks, or I'm as confident as going with pea gravel banks, I'm going to let the fish dictate what I do. But, if you're just looking for, to have, go out and produce day in and day out, you could get caught up in that game of not being able to come in with a limit because you're scattering your skills too much. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that goes throughout all time of the year, though. We're talking about fall fishing, but that's really any time of the year.
How important is history when you go to the tournament lakes that you go to?
Very rarely do we ever go to a lake like during the same time of the year and have the exact same conditions. Kind of when I can look at a lake and I can look at a lake and never being on that lake before in my life. I can look at that lake and be like, right off the giddy, I kind of know what part of the lake I want to fish, where I want to go, just by time of the year, what part of the region in the United States I'm at, and, what part of the United States I'm at, and just pick it and go. A lot of people get hung up on when they fish a brand new lake. That's like that question, you guys know it. That question is like the $1 million question, like people like to ask you. David, how do you break down a brand new lake? I'm like, how are we supposed to break that down to you in like 5 minutes? It's like, are you kidding me? You're asking me how to break down a lake in 5 minutes that I can summarize it up for you, with. But to answer your question is that, figuring out a lake and where you want to fish and what part of the lake you're in, history doesn't play that big of a role. You can do your research online. That's a great thing about online. You can do your research and just look up past tournament stats or what people, have done in the past. And you can't ever go by the truth of it. But, mostly you don't have to ask. You shouldn't have to ask. What part of the lake or any of that if you've done your research. Or just put general fishing knowledge together.
Okay, let's talk about weather a little bit in the fall. It can be very unpredictable. You can have rain one day. It can be 30 degrees in the morning one day and be 50 the next. What do you think is the most detrimental to the fish weather-wise in the fall before winter sets in? What can knock them in the head the worst?
Okay, I'm not a big believer. Cold fronts, no doubt. Cold fronts can be, Florida fish and cold fronts. Absolutely, those fish can't stand a 5-degree temperature drop. They just freak out, right? But you got once you start heading north, a cold front doesn't really affect the fish as much as people think they do. But in the fall, if depending on what time of the year it is in the fall, like if you're talking early fall versus late fall, I think it affects them. But I think sun and clouds and wind affects more of the fish, fishing than say it getting cold, because a fish he's got to do what he's got to do, and he's going to eat when he's hungry. He's going to eat what he's going to do. But most of the bites that you get anyways in fishing, in my opinion, are all curiosity. Oh, just like that much. I'm sorry. My friend was trying to chartreuse the tip of a tail, and he ended up dipping like 5 inches of a trick worm into the.
Maybe they're going to bite chartreuse.
Yeah, he just turned a green pumpkin trick worm into a chartreuse pumpkin.
Oh, all right, David. We got about 30 seconds, man. We got to get out of here, buddy. Anything else you'd like to touch base on?
No, I appreciate you guys, but if anybody's listening, one thing I'd like to encourage you, I just started a YouTube channel, and you can look me up on YouTube with just my name, David Dudley. I'm going to be holding, tournament coverage. I do hunting, I do fishing, I do wild and crazy stuff. So if you haven't checked me out on my YouTube channel, go do it now. We just started it about 5 weeks ago, so it's been a fun 5 weeks.
All right, man. Sounds great. And also, we're Facebook Live today. It'll be archived on Facebook, Fishing Radio Show. David, thanks for being our guest today.
Thank you.
And until next week, I'm Don Barry, host of Don Barry's Fishing Radio Show, saying keep fishing and keep catching.
Branson West Marine Repair Center, Championship Marine, Chomper Soft Plastics, War Eagle Spinnerbaits, John's Hot Crops, McAllister Marine, Blues Reels and Rods, Solar Bat Sunglasses, Hayden Machinery, Ulrich Marine, Freedom Bank, Extreme Outdoors, Bass Pro Shops, Power Pole, and Garmin Electronics.
Wind and rain to me, it's all the same. I make a living playing this game.
Hey, what's going on? This is Jenny Hopkins with a Coach's Person.